To Facebook, this is Stephen, joined today on a very special day by David Burrows in Canada. Good afternoon, David, or good morning.
It's just good afternoon now. We just hit noon 01.
Brilliant.
Great to be here, and thanks for including me to be a part of this. I'm looking forward to spending every Monday with you for an hour and talking to our communities and seeing what we can help people with.
Yeah, I mean, Belive in 5 is becoming something special, and it's because of the people that are involved, the networking that goes on.
Yeah.
And we're just happy. And if you're watching the show now, we'd like to say welcome to the show. And if you can, please share. Now, David, we got together on YouTube a few months back on another platform called Lightstream, which we enjoy using on YouTube. And now we're together on Facebook. But we're here with a purpose, because we're actually going to talk about something which any live broadcaster could do, but not everybody can do. So our topic for today and for the next couple of weeks is starting broadcasting for your local community. And as I just said, it's David and myself, and we're on BeLive.tv, and we're going to go with the start broadcasting for your local community. Now, I know that this is your forte, sir. Broadcasting for your local community. Can you tell me how did you get started?
Well, kind of by accident, honestly. I was actually a karaoke DJ for 20 plus years. I still do a little bit here in Sarnia, but I did it. That was my living, 5-6 days a week.
Wow.
And then life changed for me, and so I always had a microphone in my hand. And I built a lot of relationships over time. You know, I live in a community of about 73,000 people. And I've lived here all my life, never left. So really, when life changed for me, I just kind of went, what am I going to do? And, I saw this YouTube thing, and they seemed to kind of be figuring it out. And but nobody was really paying attention to it, at least in my community. And then I started using, I'd used a bit of Facebook video for my other businesses. And then I just took what I already knew with a microphone and combined it and said, yeah, I could be a talk show host. And then I just kind of ran with it. But the difficult part was coming up with a theme for what I was going to talk about. And coming from the music world, I have a lot of contacts all over the world with musicians and artists and promoters and that sort of thing. So I originally included that as I had the music scene, and then I had the I forget what I called in the community at the time. And then I just kind of decided to promote everything that was in my community. And later down the road, I'd focus on just individual subjects. So I know that's a long answer, but there's a lot behind getting started. So realistically, I probably got started 30 years ago. Just that what it looks like now has changed, minus I don't sing on live broadcast.
Right. Okay. Understand that. I won't ask you, and I'm certainly not going to do so. What do you enjoy about doing local broadcasting?
I think for me, Stephen, it's mostly the people I get to meet. Kind of go back to the old Sesame Street song, the people that you meet when you're walking down the street, the people that you meet every day. And I created an opportunity, but I've also been given an opportunity to while there's people that I've known of in my community, it's allowed me to get to know them as personally and what they're about. And I've as long as I've been a promoter of our community, I believe in the greatness in our community. I believe in the greatness of the people in our community, and I have the opportunity to share that. And it's really the learning that I get out from talking to so many people on a daily basis to opportunities like this. To I've met great people like you. We share, we network, and it's the people. Hello, Drew. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we've got Drew and Vincent with us, so thank you for joining us. I've just posted a link up above or down below, and if you want to join us live on air, that's David and I, then please just press the link and come in. And Vincent is saying the digital street goes everywhere in the globe, and we're joined by Brad. And hello, Brad.
Hello, Brad.
This is networking at its best, where everybody gets together. You can join us on camera if you wish. Just press the link and you can join David and I. Now, okay, if you were starting out today to actually broadcast into your local community, would you do things, well, what would you do now with the hindsight?
Yeah, looking back, what would I do differently?
Yeah.
It's really a tough question because there's probably so many things. But I've always said just start, right? But I mean, you do have to have a kind of in the back of your mind, like, where do you want to go to? Like, are you like, okay, I want to promote my community. Well, okay, so you want to promote your community? You want to promote politics? Some might say, well, no, I don't want anything to do with that. So you have to really sit down and jot down on a piece of paper what your thoughts are as to what it is you want to promote. Because when I started promoting the community, I was promoting the music scene in the community. And then it was, it could have been the Canadian Cancer Society's having a Relay for Life event to the guy who helped the little old lady across the street, right? So while the titles are general, you do have to have some kind of an idea as to where you're going to go with it, because I just started doing that pre-recorded show once a week. And then as I got more into the live streaming, I was putting myself out there more like a mobile journalist, newscaster, if you will. And then I got into, I broadcast our city council meetings. Even though they do it themselves, I still do it. Why do I still do it? Because it's interest. I'm taking an interest. And if I'm going to sit there and be committed to involving myself to understanding what's going on in our city and sit there with pen and paper, I might as well broadcast it. They let me. It's public meeting. Okay. I've gotten into sports now, and my friends, some of my good buddies laugh at me because they're like, "Hey, great for you, Burrows. I don't know how you got that because you don't even know how to spell sports." Well, you just put yourself in the arena, so to speak. Yeah. And you have to be prepared to plan, do, review, right? And but I would say the most part, you really just have to. You got to have a plan, and you maybe don't always know what that plan looks like. But then just go out and build the relationships. You and I have often talked about relationships, and building those relationships in your community. Going to networking events, offering your time, volunteer in your community. One thing leads to another with that networking, and offer yourself, but don't sell yourself short either. Because, but I will say, aside from that too, you need to prepare yourself mentally, because a dog does not chase a parked car. And by putting yourself in front of the camera, you will be criticized, you will be picked on, or you will be made fun of, or whatever you want to call it. But be prepared, because some will jest at you and some will throw darts at you. So you've got to have some rhino skin. And let those bullets, you got to let those bullets bounce off. And as good as some of us are at that, we've all got little cracks somewhere. But you've got to. I think that's probably something that I wasn't prepared for, and took some things to heart. And then I realized, I have a beautiful wife that supports me and has from day one. So I mean, that's the support is huge as well. You got to have that support around you. Surround yourself with the right people.
So it's a team effort. Although you're the front man,
Yep.
You could have a team of people which you've built through networking. Do you attend local networking meetings?
Yeah, we have our business after 5 here with our local Chamber of Commerce, and that networking with them is it doesn't even have to be networking for anything that has to do with what you're doing. It's if you go out there thinking of about it as what's in it for me if I go do this. There is a bit of that. We subconsciously, no matter how hard you try to not have that in you, that's always going to be in there. But if you can go out and genuinely go talk to other people and are genuine about finding out what it is about them, what are they doing, people will just want to involve you eventually. Yeah. Go out and seek. I repeat myself a lot in the community here. Some people, if they're watching, will laugh, but go seek out greatness in other people, and greatness will come your way. And that's the part of the community side that, I think hopefully every community tries to achieve. We can look at the bad, and all you got to do is talk politics, right? In any city.
That's true.
But right. Seek out the greatness in other people ahead of yourself.
On that note, I'd like to welcome our first guest on our new show, and that's Vincent. And hello, Vincent.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, Vincent.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Wonderful.
Yeah, we've now joined the UK with Canada and Colorado. Is that correct?
Oh, wow.
I am in Colorado. That's right. This is very exciting.
And I got to give a quick shout out to my friend Jay Peckham, who's watching us here in my hometown, and he said he's giggling a little. He's probably giggling a lot because Jay and I just have that relationship. Thanks for watching, Jay.
We welcome everybody today, and welcome Vincent. I enjoyed your show yesterday, and you made a success on Belive.
I was really happy with it, Steven. The signal was great the whole time through. I'm here in Colorado. I had a guest, Lucy, in London. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to build community internationally through music. So that's my overriding theme with everything. So I've been connecting with Lucy for over 2 years, and a young guitar player connected her with singer-songwriter here in Colorado, and we did a couple music videos together, which led to some very interesting opportunities for both of them being on London television.
Nice. So how long have you been a musician, Vincent?
Well, I'm not a practicing musician, actually. I'm more of a promoter and helping with collaborating on projects.
Okay.
But since 2009, I've been involved in the music scene here in northern Colorado through a radio show that I had 4 or 5 years, weekly radio show, having youth musicians on the show and then interviewing them as well. So them getting the skill of being interviewed, I think, is a really powerful opportunity for them to use a different part of their brain.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. I was just telling Steven before we started that my live show that I've relaunching tomorrow night. I've got an all-girl pop rock group, and their ages, I think, 13 to 15 or 10 to 15, something like that. And that was one of the discussions was how do we prepare that age group for doing interviews, because that's part of the industry, right? Because girls might giggle a lot and whatever, but I think that's great that you do that.
Yeah, and when I had my radio show, I had a lot of free reign, so I could have Emma Marie, for example. I probably had her on my show over 10 times, so they get the first interview is different than the second interview, different than the third interview, and when they feel comfortable with the person interviewing them, I think that's huge. I think that in listening to other radio interviews, I think that there can be a propensity at times for the host to want to talk over the guest or maybe not really give them free reign to actually tell a story. And I think that, as you guys know, it's all about the stories. I think that's what really grabs people and makes them interested in them and as the scene as a whole. there are so many stories that lead up to the performance, that lead up to the recording in the studio. And I think that it's all about life skills. You talk about the age group 13 to 15. There are so many life skills that can be learned when they're given the space to create, when they're given the respect, when the families are on board with that mindset that we're not trying to, probably the last thing in the world I would ever want to happen, because you want the artist to maintain their creativity and to maintain a sense of control over what is happening.
Yeah. What do you I know when I prepare myself to interview anybody, I have what I call the pre-interview. Yes. I try to, you mentioned there too, it's important to make your guests feel comfortable. You have to have a connection. You have to reassure them that you're not going to surprise them with anything. What do you do to prepare a guest?
Exactly what you're referring to. That's perfect. I think it has to come from them. We want them to talk about what's interesting to them, and bringing that out of them in a pre-interview. A pre-interview could last 30 minutes. It really could. I think it's all in the preparation, and I think them knowing that the tone is one of fun. Like this is all about fun. If we get silly, we get a little goofy, that's gold. That is gold. Yeah. And if things come up that are kind of out of the blue a little bit, because I can go off on tangents very easily. But I know it's sort of like listening to an Allman Brothers song. Like it's going out there. It's like, how are you going to bring that back? Like they're going on this jam out there, and always knowing that you bring it back to the center and maintain it on the course. So you have certain goals that you want to accomplish. And you also have an idea about the time frame as well.
I love that comparison. I'm going to borrow that if you don't mind.
Oh, please. The Allman Brothers have been, they're kind of a mindset that I like to live my life. You want to be creative. You want to go out on tangents. You want to be original. You want people to groove, and then being able to bring it back to the where you started from.
Yeah, for sure. Steven, sorry, didn't mean to take over there. I guess Vincent and I seem to have a common ground there. So
yeah, it's brilliant. This is the joy of live broadcasting, that you can go off and discover areas which you've got common interest in, and I think that was brilliant. I mean, this is what it's all about. It is about networking and getting to know people.
Yeah, and I'm happy to. Every time we do this, I know I get excited because I'm going to meet somebody like Vincent. And we've networked. We've got a common ground now. And I don't know if his wheels are turning, but I'm already thinking, gee, maybe I should be having Vincent on my live show. And he's probably got some people that I could have on. And like it's already, don't get me started.
I'm absolutely feeling that way, that we'll connect after this broadcast for sure. And it's important because there's not really a template for how youth artists are to get started. We look at the TV shows that are, in all truthfulness, they're drama shows. And they don't really teach ongoing skills, and it's very important to be able to do that. So that's kind of what my program has been doing, and I'm sort of continually evolving it, but I definitely feel the international element is wonderful with this digital technology that we're using, Steven. You've seen it.
I've got to, as I said to David, this is actually my 200th on Belive. They came out in October 2016, October 14th. Thank you for that. I thoroughly enjoyed being on BeLive.tv. I've met literally hundreds of people around the globe, as you say, Vincent, including David. And David and I are part of the Belive in 5 team, which you already know about, Vincent. And this is a new show, and we're glad to have you here because it's the first ever show that we've done on. You're marking what is quite a splendid day.
Absolutely. Great way to start the day.
Yeah. That's the other thing that we've got as well, is that we do have time differences. You're at 11:20 in the morning?
Actually, 10:20.
10:20. Wow.
I'm at 12:20.
And I'm at 17:20. There you go.
17. Now you're making me think. 15, 16. You're 5:20. Okay.
5:20. 5:20.
I wasn't in the military.
Neither was I. I mean, but it's sort of. I just find it fascinating that we can get together and just chat openly and share our thoughts and our wishes with the live broadcasting world. I think that what we're trying to do, and talking of the broadcasting world, we've now reached Scotland. Hey, Fraser, good to see you. We're joined by Scotland, so the gang's all here now.
Oh, hello, Fraser. Well, you know what's interesting, though, about this, sort of back to the whole, broadcasting for your community, Stephen. One of the other things that I've learned being out in my community, and last weekend I was at Rib Fest, and then there was Veg Fest, and then there was music. I am kind of the everywhere guy in my community, but the funny looks that I get because I have a system where that I have a wireless microphone that plugs into my iPhone, and somebody, my wife or my son or whoever holds that camera for me. Or I have a lot of cameramen around me. For example, right. I was just at our local college. They've launched an esports program. It's a 2-year. You can get a diploma in gaming now. And
wow.
College is the first in Canada to do it. Now, see, everybody laughs. Like Vincent's going, really? You're going to go listen? Yeah. But and I had the same reaction because my son's looking at going to college here in town, and the rolling of the eyes like that. It's not basket weaving though. This is huge. This is a multi-billion-dollar business, and they're teaching marketing. They're teaching social skills. They're teaching all the aspects that go into a game, the program, everything. This is a huge deal. But it's funny, again, that reaction is similar to sometimes what I get when I'm walking around with my wireless microphone and they see this. I mean, I have an iPhone 6 Plus, but I can hand it off to somebody and say, hey, excuse me, Vincent, could you help me with something? Just press that button and just follow me around. I have a cameraman everywhere, right? And, with Belive especially, I've noticed, Stephen, you'd probably agree, it's hard to get people to come on camera. It's still a challenge.
The big story.
Right?
It's still a challenge.
It's kind of like Facebook when it first came out. Oh, I'd heard of that thing. Now everybody's doing it. It's kind of like live streaming. It was like live streaming. What's that? What is live streaming? And now people go, oh, yeah, I know what live streaming is. They've gotten used to it. Now they've got to get used to this concept of, like, we're having a talk show. Oprah could be doing this, right? Or Larry King or whoever you want to look at. That comfort zone has to grow still with that. And I think that everybody's still getting used to the idea of, even like, say, even when I'm out and about, they kind of look at me like, what's that guy doing? Right?
Yeah.
If I may, I wanted to go back just a moment about the gaming. And when I was laughing, actually, it was I know that that's actually a degree that people can get. And I know I'm not a gamer myself, but I know people that are really into that. And there are so many aspects of that business. And one of them is making music for the games.
Yes.
So there's an interest for me that's very strong, because I would very much like some of the ramp artists I work with to be able to tap into that. Because as an artist, the more different things you can tap into, you never know where those dots are going to connect and what's going to lead from that. As far as so I wanted to make that comment, and I think that's really interesting that that's evolving the way that it is. Public speaking is the number one fear, as we know. It's a huge fear that people have, and I think for me, it was very helpful being in Toastmasters back when I lived in San Diego. So somebody wanting to come on air and be interviewed, I can understand the fear of that. At times, I think somebody's need to self-promote is one of the most difficult things in the world you can do. So anything to help them get an audience, I think that the fear is overridden by their need to succeed, to put food on the table. And I think, as we mentioned previously about the interviewing, if they feel prepared, I think if they feel safe and not feel like they're going to be thrown curveballs, and that they know what's going to come from that, and just make it. And I think that's probably a big part of this. I mean, we're all learning here. Steven, you're much more experienced at this than I. Certainly, would you say?
The most experienced person here is David. I bow to David because he's
okay. You're new to me, David. This is the first time we've met, and that I've heard about you. I'm really
I appreciate that.
The beauty of this is we all learn from each other, and David's broadcasting long before Facebook.
I see. Yeah, I'm gonna learn more about you in the upcoming days here.
And I agree to your point of making people feel comfortable. I'm probably referring more to somebody who's watching this broadcast right now. We repeatedly would say, please click on the link and come into the broadcast. And I think there's people that watch it, but they're like, no way, my hair's not right, or I'm not dressed for the occasion, or like, I think it goes back to the days of tape recorders, when you talk into something and then you play it back, you're like, that's not my voice. And that's exactly how you sound. So it's just a fear, right? But I think in another year or two, we'll see more and more people get over that, because we're seeing more and more people go live from their phones, showing us cat videos or whatever they're doing. But, to family reunions, to picnics, to What a Beautiful Day at the Beach, it's everything, right? It's not just talk shows like this. And I'm looking forward to when everybody goes live, and that just becomes a natural thing, like reheating your dinner in the microwave, right? You just do it. I think it's important to recognize, and we've sort of already talked about recognizing people's fears, and it is our job as I say interviewer, but coach, to get them to be ready and to encourage them to go do their own thing after they've been live with us too, right? That's something that I talk to a lot of people about. My local computer group and stuff. I've given demonstrations, and it's like, I just go live, everybody, because it will really change the world.
Just do it. I mean, that's the thing, and get involved. But there is a fear. I mean, more so in the UK. The UK, we have a reputation of being somewhat reserved, and it was never. Well, yes, we do, and it was never so true when it comes to live broadcasting. I mean, if you look at the Belivers group, which has now going on for 3,000 members, I would say that there are about 100 Brits in there, and I know them all. So it's a very, very, within the UK at the moment, broadcasting is a very tight arena, and what we're going to do, hopefully do, through reaching out to people and inviting people on shows, is to actually get people used to being on camera. Yeah. I mean,
and good for you, because I mean, that's an opportunity for you, because you're then leading the way in your area. You're the example.
Thank you for that. Yeah, we do a show every Thursday morning, which goes out at 5 a.m. Eastern, which is 10 a.m. in the UK, which is Blabbing for Britain. And this week is our 91st show. So we've been going for 91 weeks, and we are doing our best to get people in the UK involved in live broadcasting, but it's an uphill struggle at the moment. But people have got to join in. You've got to join in or be left out. People go to breakfast meetings, they go to lunch meetings, they go to evening meetings. But I think virtual public meetings are the way things are going to go, and I'm doing what I can to encourage that.
So I would like to put this out there to partner with you to. I feel that in many ways the soul of a community is through the arts, and probably the most visible, most powerful is the music. So I'm starting to connect actually online with some other musicians in the London area, and I think that if they get on and are able to help promote themselves, the community, the circle of influence that they're involved with would see that it's not so scary, perhaps, and maybe the non-musicians would be able to come on and talk about, whatever facets of their lives they're involved with as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't. I'd love to get involved. And I'm sure David would as well, because this is something that we both believe
Absolutely.
in. It's getting more and more people involved in live video. And I just got a comment through from a good friend of mine, Dan, who also lives in Wiltshire. And he's just saying, hi, folks. Stephen has been a great help when I was running a live show for 6 months last year. Now, just tell you a little bit about the show before I tell you about Dan. The show was a show called rawchalk.tv. Now, this is, yeah. Dan has his own chocolate factory. He decided that he was going to get into chocolate production, and he did so. And he was celebrating 5 years of being in business. And I said, well, the best way to do it is to go. Yeah. So Dan started the show, which I co-hosted, and we ran for 6 months, doing the show every month, all around the theme of raw choc. We'd have a recipe, we'd have a history of raw chocolate, we'd have a guest, and the whole thing went well together. So my shout out is to Dan, and thanks is to Dan, because Dan is one of the 100 people in the UK going live on video. I'd love to be involved in helping with your projects. Yeah.
Very exciting. They just had a busking competition in London. And Lucy, who was my first interview on my show, she was in the top 3 of that as a 13-year-old, which is very, very impressive. There are many, many artists involved in that. And I've talked to the mom of one of the other top 3 finishers, and they're very interested in collaborating with my ramp program in some capacity. So, yeah, there's a lot of potential here, gentlemen. This is very exciting. This is just the first call that I've been involved with, Stephen, you and David, and already I like to think that in some ways I'm a Johnny Appleseed of the youth music world. Kind of, it's all about planting seeds, because you never know. The music industry in particular is very undefined as far as the rules. They pretty much know in many ways what won't work, but they never really know exactly what is going to work. So it's really a matter of planting those seeds and nourishing those environments so that people can collaborate. And certainly with this digital world that we're in, this is remarkable having this conversation. I mean, this has not been around that long. I remember wanting to live stream some events that I set up. This is going back like 5 years, and I couldn't because I would rather, I don't know what the application was called at the time that I was trying, but it was so reliant on a very powerful, consistent internet signal. And I had to choose between doing a live show that there was about a 50-50 chance that it would cut out halfway through.
Those are pretty good odds. What do you want? Perfect.
You go from a semi-professional, in my case, semi-professional video live stream to black and no stream at all. And I made the decision to not live stream at that time because there was not an odds of it sticking through the whole time.
Yeah.
So now I feel much differently about that, and being able to do a show is really remarkable. It's really remarkable.
Well, and that comes back to a little bit. I don't know if you were watching us yet when Stephen and I were talking about be prepared to when you put yourself in front of the camera, that people will criticize and make fun of and all those things, right. And they're very unforgiving when it comes to bad sound, or that didn't look right, or you spelt that wrong, or whatever. And it does reflect on you, right? You want to be as professional, at least I know I do. You want to be as professional as possible. And, I've had my share of glitches with broadcasting, or this didn't work, or that didn't work. And I get the resistance of, we want a perfect tick. I used to sell cell phones back in the early 90s, okay?
Right.
And they were bag phones and everything. And people would say, well, am I going to be guaranteed that No, you're not guaranteed a signal all the time. I'm sorry. Now you have a better chance, right? We're so reliable on technology that we forget it's not wired.
No,
it's not wired. There's things that are going to go. I guarantee you, something's already gone wrong here. Probably, I don't know. Like it probably will have. So, but you have to put yourself out there anyway, and you have to push forward. I mean, the first heart transplant didn't work either, but thank goodness they tried and kept going. And maybe a few people didn't make it through the surgery, but now it's day surgery.
It is. It is.
Right?
Incredible changes take place. I mean, we're now in a situation where stats show that over 95% and heading quickly north of 95% of shows don't have any problems.
Yeah, that's right.
And the 5% that do, if you refresh your screen, that solves another 90% of those. So most shows are now going out. I mean, the thing is about if you take a Facebook group, then the people who are having a good time won't be posting complaints. So we know that the majority of Belive.tv users are very, very happy with the service.
Yeah. Stephen, I thought I saw a question there from Jay Peckham. Is that
all right? Okay, let's go back to the question then. And question is, how do you go about finding guests? So I imagine that in order to attract an audience, you need to find subjects that people find interesting. That's two questions, isn't it?
Yeah.
So guests and subjects. Do you want to take that?
Yeah, I'd like to tackle that. That's my friend Jay Peckham here in Sarnia. Thanks for watching, Jay. It's a really great question, and it's not easy to find guests necessarily, but it comes back to networking again, and you have to put yourself out there. And I know I'm not sure what topic Jay's talking about. I know he was doing a lose weight with Peckham program. So, I mean, it takes time. You have to go into the groups. You have to go out into the community. You got to shake the hands and introduce yourself. And you just have to ask the question, hi, I do a show. Would you be interested in being a guest on my show? And that's your one-liner. Like me right now, everything I'm doing, I say, you should live stream that. You should live stream that. You just make it a part of your conversation, asking people, hey, I do this show, and you just ask. And Indeed. the other thing I've learned too, aside from asking people directly, would you be on my show, is the who do you know question. Stephen, I'm running a weight loss show. I go live every Wednesday at blah 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 blah. Who do you know that's interested in fitness and health?
Yep.
And that might be you. Oh, well, I am, David. And the next thing you know, the conversation's going off, and great, you are. And the next thing you know, you've got me out at one of your fitness meetings, and there's 20 more people at the fitness meeting, and it just starts from there. And I know I probably make it sound easy. Like Jennifer, my wife, will tell you, well, you make it sound easy. I don't have your personality. Well, you don't. It's probably good that you don't have my personality, but get your own personality and take what I'm sharing with you and put it into your own words. My friend Jay Peckham will have no problem. Jay, just go out, and you and I know a lot of the same people. Yeah. Just put it out there. Who do you know? And the other way I find works for me is ask for help.
Indeed.
Vincent, I've got a bit of a problem, and I'm wondering if you would be willing to help me with something. Most people, unless they're a ding dong, well, who doesn't like to help somebody? First of all, you're flattered by the fact that I even asked you. Oh wow, he thinks enough of me to ask for help. Vincent, can you help me with the problem? Well, sure, I'd love to help you with the problem. What's the problem, David? Well, I've got this show that I'm doing, and I'm having a hard time finding some guests. Well, what's your show about, David? It just goes from there. It's that icebreaker, right? So, and Jay, let's go for we'll say coffee. I like beer.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
We'll talk about it more.
Beer is good for me. I live in a town that's got 2 breweries.
Nice.
So it's very nice. I must send you a pint over at some point.
We have one here.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, now, it's makes life a lot easier because you can go straight to the brewery, buy it from the brewery, and it's cheaper. And
we could do a whole show on that.
We could do a beer show, craft beer show. How's that?
I'm in. I am so
Right,
in.
see, find the topic. That's the thing, Jay. Find a topic. So craft beers coming to a show near you one Monday afternoon, and then we're going to get to go with Vincent and his program, and we'd love to help on that. I just want to say hello to Sandy and say thank you for dropping by, Sandy, and to go to one of Dan's comments, and I'm going to pick him up on this. I'm going to. He's just said that his show, rawchalk.tv, has been off air for too long. I think I can do something to sort that out.
Come back.
Okay. And hello to John.
And gentlemen, not to cut you off, but I do need to see the show happening. David, great to meet you online, and we're going to stay connected for sure.
Okay.
Reach out to me on Facebook. David Burrows will connect, and anytime. Well, I welcome that.
Absolutely.
Vincent, it's been a pleasure. See you again soon.
Thanks for having me on.
Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, this is the beauty of live video. We can never predict what's going to happen.
Well, I have to say I'm a little disappointed.
Okay, why?
Because my friend Jay Peckham is out there, and he hasn't come on camera yet, and he's not shy. So, Jay, you should come on and meet my friend Steven. So there's the challenge. That's my disappointment.
I'm going to post a link again. Right, so we're posting the link again, and you should see it shortly. Jay, now is your chance to actually join us on here.
He's probably at work. He's probably not even supposed to be doing it now. Of course, it's lunchtime, maybe.
Okay, and a point from Drew. I think production meetings or behind the cameras access on crowdfunded indie films being recorded this way would be a great content for the major backers. I'm surprised no filmmaker has tried it yet.
Let me read that again. I would think.
Surely, yeah.
Or behind the camera access on crowdfunding. Oh, okay. That's kind of interesting.
All right. There was a basically, I remember a website, a video site called Huzza.io, and it was around about time of Blab, Huzza.io, and they eventually sold out to a crowdfunding operation.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Like I actually learned about Huzza from you.
Okay.
Before I met you. It was a link or something a long time ago because I was in the Blab world too. And yeah. What's interesting, it's Drew, if you're watching, click on the link, come in and talk to us if you can about that, because I'd like to learn more about that. And we started the show talking about community and broadcasting in your community. I think what's the definition of community now? Because you've heard me say, many times now, Stephen, that the world is just one big city now. It's one tiny city, however you want to look at it, right? So what's the community? Connecting with people like Stephen, you're a part of my community. Vincent is now a part of my community, right? So maybe it's the new word for networking. I don't know.
So the community is not just strictly geographical,
right?
When you talk about
it is for me in the sense of what I do. Yeah. But again, I'm expanding on that, doing live with David every week, right? I might have you on as a guest, and you're in the UK, and I might have Colorado on next, and I might have Toronto. Like that community to me is, it's just so powerful. I can get worked up about it because it's so powerful that we can connect with people that we really couldn't connect with before, and celebrities are a big one, I think. And I haven't seen a lot of it yet with Belive. Or Lightstream or any of the ones really just yet. Facebook, yeah, but come on, celebrities need to pick up on this, man. Like you can connect with your audience so hugely by this. I mean, I intend to use my connections in the world of musicians and stuff of celebrities I know and have them on. I've had a couple already, and my audience just goes, "Wow, how'd you do that?" I get to talk to my celebrity.
That's true. And Vincent, it was our pleasure.
Great seeing you, Vincent.
Look forward to seeing you again. Take care. Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, but that's because your community, your network, over the years that you've been involved in this has just grown, and you through the work that you've been doing,
Yes.
you've built up connections.
Yeah, it's it certainly takes work. Like it's kind of like network marketing, right? You have to. Well, you got to call it whatever you want to call it, but you've got to build relationships, and people will deal with you for 3 reasons. They know you, like you, and trust you, right? For the most part.
Yeah.
And but again, I mean, obviously, in the back of our minds, we're always thinking about, well, what's in it for me? How can I get this? How can I get that? But again, if you go out and you are genuinely interested in people and are talking to people, they'll want to hang around you. They'll want to work with you. And then, you have to, there's people you don't want to work with too, right? I mean, let's be honest about it all. Surround yourself with the right people. I've been saying for a long time, I'm not that smart. I just surround myself with people who are smarter than me.
We all do. We all try our best. That's what I'm doing today. That's what I'm doing today.
Oh, geez, you said it before I did.
Right. Okay. Sandy, we'd love to have you on camera. At the moment, all I can see though is a Manycam feed. So if you want to refresh your computer and come in and switch Manycam off, we'd love to have you join us on air.
Perfect.
So we're going.
Sorry, go ahead. You're talking to Sandy.
That's
a perfect example of so I got it. So our local Ontario Hockey League team here is called the Sarnia Sting, and I've always enjoyed it. I'm not a so I started this Behind the Net series, partnered up with the Sarnia Sting, and was talking about hockey, right? And then my friend Jay Peckham, I brought him on as a fan perspective. And he's got the knowledge. He's got all the stats and the knowledge. I mean, they hand me. I can talk about anything. They hand me a piece of paper with all these stats on it, and I just have to define it and how I'm going to deliver it. But Jay would come on, right, and he knew everything about it. So he was my smarter guy. He made me look great. Thank you, Jay, by the way. And so I mean, that's just an example of. You don't have to be. I mean, you got to have some knowledge. I mean, you got to know that that was a penalty, or that was you got to know the difference between a period and a quarter. Like one's football, one's not. But I mean, surround yourself with those people, and you'll be able to achieve so many great things. Worked for me anyway.
All right, and I'd like to welcome a new guest to the show, and say good day to. Sandy, hello.
There's Sandy.
Hi. Can you hear us?
Hello, Sandy. Test 1, 2. Buckle my shoe.
Right, I think we've got a problem, Sandy. It's not coming through video or sound. If you can drop back out and refresh and come back in. Okay. We're getting delayed sound at the moment. If you could refresh and come back in, that'd be brilliant. Okay. That's the problem. I'm going to, if you refresh and then come back in, this is the joy of live broadcasting. As David said earlier in the show, he doesn't know whether something's gone wrong or not. Occasionally in the show, something will go wrong.
I had to say something.
But I mean, so far, and Drew would love to come in, but he's got a production meeting in 5 minutes for a new show. Well, good luck with the new show, Drew, and we look forward to catching you soon.
Drew, I'd love you to connect with me on Facebook, and I'd like to talk to you more about that. So you're welcome to do that. I welcome everybody to connect with me. I can't have enough friends.
I totally agree. I mean, I've been an open network. I mean, being an open networker is where it's at. I mean, just a moment. You sent out a challenge a moment ago.
Oh, did he make it? Be prepared, Stephen. I should have warned you about my friend Jay Peckham. There he is. Jay, buddy.
How's it going, Dave?
I'm doing great. Stephen, this is my friend Jay Peckham. He was probably scrambling around going, I got to get my camera hooked up. I got to figure this out, or I had to hang up the phone on somebody, or you had to do something to make this work.
Well, you know what? And I totally forgot. I use Microsoft Edge browser generally, and I forgot this is a Google Chrome. So I finally got it. I had to remember because it's been a while since we've been on air together.
That's right. I know. Yeah, Jay's been on my show a couple of times, and I've joined his show a couple of times. And Jay's quite a he's quite a character.
That's a good way to introduce something.
I can say that. You should hear what he says about me.
Yeah, no, it's all good, David, and it's a pleasure to meet you too, Stephen. I do love this format. Dave brought me into it some time ago when we were doing the behind the net bit with the Sarnia Sting, and we started talking about Belive and sort of what it could do. And I know I live a very public existence, and this is a great format and an amazing piece of technology that I think certainly a lot more people, if they knew about it, would probably use it. And I know I can see lots of great plugins for me. My challenge right now is the time. I mean, Dave's done a tremendous job because I've been sort of following his Belive stuff and his career and his path. But I mean, this is really taken over for you, Dave, as almost a full-time gig, right? I mean, you're so actively involved in the community in terms of your broadcasting and what you do for us that it's kind of a full time. And if only I had the time for that, because truthfully, I've got 3 or 4 other interests, wife and 3 kids and a daytime job and the whole 9 yards. So it's a little harder for me to find the time for this. In fact, I'm actually just coming on really quite ill today, unfortunately, and I'm home from work and about to get a glass of water and go back to bed. But I just, I saw Dave live, and I thought, it's important to join because and lend my support for this. So.
Well, I appreciate the comments there, Jay, and this is full time for me now, right? I mean, I still do karaoke, but I do that once a week compared to I used to do that 6 days a week. 6 days a week at karaoke. Can you imagine that? That's another show.
That's a whole other show. Yeah.
But you mentioned something important, at least important to me, Jay, and I appreciate it. Is you said I need to take the time to jump on and support this, and that's probably one of the biggest keys. It's one of the variables of success, if you will, is to getting people to buy into what you're doing genuinely. Where a sick man who should be in bed says it'll only take a minute, right? So I appreciate that, Jay, and that's part of making it work, right? And again, and Jay knows we have a great relationship and we work well together, and it's relationships and it's building on that, and it's a lot of marriages, right? And it takes work. It takes, I've had a couple people say, geez, you're really lucky, Burrows, doing your thing. What do you mean lucky?
No, and you know what, David, it's a good point too, because one of my past experiences has been at being an improv comedian. We had pardon me. I was once part of an improvisational comedy group called Collateral Damages with a close friend. But, in as much as improv is off the cuff and, impromptu and it looks like it, the really good improv comedians, they've done it before. There's been some practice, there's rehearsal, there's understanding the rules, there's parameters, and there's preparation. You can't just go into something completely blind and expect it to be magic, there has to be a certain amount of preparation that goes into it so that, when you get to this thing, you got to limit the surprises. I mean, sometimes they're wonderful. but many times surprises not so wonderful. And so, putting a little bit of time in beforehand, knowing your guest a little bit, preparing a couple of questions to have in the can, so that when you get to that point and you're, running off the rails and you realize maybe your guest isn't as animated as you want them to be, you've got something that can kind of redirect it and bring it on track, right? So there is a lot of work that goes into this stuff too.
Well, I never had that problem with you, Jay.
Well, right. Fair enough.
Right. Now, my preparation for Behind the Net would be, okay, Jay, what do you want to talk about? You go, well, I think, but okay, here we go.
Right.
But again, he made me look great.
Brilliant. And just to bring, I'm going to drop down for a moment and bring Sandy in. If we can sort of have a chat with Sandy and make sure that his camera's working.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
bring it on.
Back in a second. Back in a couple.
Ooh, Jay, you just got like really big on my screen.
Ooh. And you and me, baby.
Ooh. Here's the fun part, and I have no control. This is actually another cool thing about Belive, for those of you considering it, is so Steven is in the background. He's now producing it, and he can bring in somebody else. So you can actually have somebody else looking after things.
But in the meantime, he's made the mistake of leaving you and I on screen without...
I was keeping a close eye on you. Now, what happened there, Sandy, is I did bring you into the show, but it was frozen.
We almost had him.
David and Jay couldn't see you. No,
we were starting our own show.
You both forewarned me of what could happen,
and we may still yet in the future. You never know.
Right, Sandy, I will probably do a test. Right, okay, and this is a good point from John. Thank you, John. We need 4 people on screen. That would be a lot easier, because if you then people wouldn't have to drop out. I mean, we do the show on Thursday morning. And there are 4 of us in the team, but only 3 can be on camera. So, right. Okay, with that, I'm going to try Sandy again, and here we go.
Okay, fingers crossed. Sandy. He's trying. There's Sandy. Hello, Sandy. We see you frozen.
A little bit of lag.
It was frozen for me too.
I'm thinking that's probably an internet speed issue would be my first guess.
That would be my guess as well,
Yeah. And John's confirming it was still frozen. So, Sandy, we're gonna have to give you, if you give us a rain check for this week, we'll sort things out during the week and have you on the show next Monday, if that's good with you.
Sure.
Perfect.
Okay. Now,
Jay, I'm gonna. You should go to bed, because I don't want your wife chasing me down and saying.
Okay, Jay, it's been a pleasure to meet you.
Thanks so much. Very nice.
But thanks for joining in, buddy. We'll see you at the Sting games, I'm sure. Hopefully, you're good by Saturday. Go Sting, go. He's fantastic, and I when I come up with the idea for Behind the Net last season, or 2 seasons ago, and then brought him in to help out. I learned a lot from Jay. He was a great knowledge for me, and he's going to be back. We're going to be doing it again. We do 3 segments per game. He's only going to be in the middle part. We're gonna change things up a little bit, but I'm glad to have him back. Thanks, Jay, and hope he does feel better, because it's one thing about being sick is it really sucks.
I totally agree and can empathise at the moment. Now, a blast. This is our first show together on Belive in 5. I've really enjoyed it.
Fantastic.
Excellent. I mean, time's just flown, which is, you're having fun when you don't.
Yeah, it doesn't. When I first started looking at doing my show, I was like, well, do I do a half an hour or an hour? And I'm glad I went with an hour, because it really flies by. Before we run, though, I thought I saw a question, and I thought I could see all the questions before, but there was another one from John there. Something about a mixer or a big microphone, or
okay, just a moment. I'm just going. Right, okay, there we go. Do people with big microphones and fancy mixers put your average off live streaming by creating the impression that you need expensive kit?
Okay, that might be. Maybe he's talking about me.
No, John doesn't say anything personal. It's not about that. It's talking in general.
Yeah, I think that's I appreciate that, John. I think that's a good point because it probably does a little bit. I mean, if you look at my setup, the big microphone, I do have mixers back here. I have a full studio in here.
Yeah.
But here's the difference. This is my living. This is my career. This is what I do. I other than karaoke once a week. I mean, and I MC local events. I go out in my community and do stuff. But this is what I do. I am a production. I haven't even defined what my title should be. Social media broadcaster.
Right.
Something. So I think that's the difference. But I think it's good for John to point that out, that when we're broadcasting, to remind people, hey, folks, you don't need all of this to go live. Just start going live with your phone, right? So thanks for bringing that up, John. I think that was a super valid point.
Indeed. And John, thank you for joining us. And shall we say our goodbye to everybody now? And we'll be back next week, won't we?
Stephen, yes, thank you so much for making me a part of your world and allowing me to be your co-host. And I'm looking forward to. I've got it in my calendar every Monday,
Brilliant.
12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you, David. It's been a blast. And to everybody who's joined us today, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you next Monday. There is a Belive in 5 show every day, midday, Monday through Friday. All you have to do is check out the Belive in 5 page. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you next week. Take care, everybody.
Cheers.
Bye for now.
Bye for now, everybody.